Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Jazakallah. This is always a special event when we get to present the Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Award. And just to explain this award a little bit, some of you, I'm sure, have seen it, but it's a great award named for a great personality in the history of Islam Ahmadiyya USA, and that is Mufti Muhammad Sadiq, the first missionary to the United States. Came in the 1920s, a long, harrowed story of traveling over the seas on a ship, converting people along the way to this strange religion of Islam that the West really hadn't been introduced to, except in a negative, like I said, kind of a mystified way. Once landing in the United States, of course, he was held up by the immigration officials, put in a detention center, of which he was quickly put out after he converted about 40 plus people inside the detention center. So, you know, that's tabligh actually is a good way to immigrate. So once becoming established here, he actually set up our first and built the first mosque in Chicago, which I was able to visit that site this past year, and we held our first workshop for Tarbiyat Nomabain, for new converts. Really got the feeling in that area that there's something, you know, still resonating from his spirit. You know, he was a powerful personality who drew hundreds to the fold of Islam and really started Islam in America. With this award, we try to honor someone who stands out as a pioneer, you know, like he was, who basically accepted Islam Ahmadiyya in a time when there was no big, beautiful mosques like we have now. There weren't QRCs. There was really no support system. And so they were our Mufti Muhammad Sadiqs. These are some of our recent recipients. Actually, the first inductees, Abid Hanif Saab and Rashid Ahmed Saab. Yusuf Latif Sahib and Bilal Salam Sahib, who we were actually speaking with last night. I didn't know, and Qadam should be, we were talking about competition this morning, whether it should be included in the National Ijtima. Played semi-pro football up to the age of 37, so I definitely think that it should be competition continued on the instruments. Abdul Rahman Sahib, Baltimore. Bashiruddin Usama Sahib, MD. Amanullah Ahmed Sahib. This was at the Milwaukee Ijtima. The late Munir Hamid Sahib, our Naib Amir Sahib. Ahmed Said of St. Louis. Mohsen Mahmood, Munir Ahmed, actually the president when I accepted and signed my bayat in 1999. And Nuruddin Abdul Latif Sahib, North Carolina. Abdul Rakib Wali Sahib from Merced, California. Hamzat Zainuddin, Baltimore, and Abdul Karim Sahib, Chicago. This was our last one. We don't have all the pictures in yet. We need the snapshots on Ahmed Halim Sahib and Abdul Salim Sami Khalid. Those will be posted on the Tarbiyat Nomabain webpage. Please check that soon. And Hassan Abdullah, as well as their video interviews. Which brings us to today. Two very special individuals, especially to this area and region. The first that I'll begin with is Hussein Abdulaziz Sahib from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Born January 22nd, 1937. He accepted Ahmadiyya in 1960, just being 23 years old. He has 2 sons, 1 daughter, 6 grandchildren. He's one of the elite members of the legendary group of converts, some of which are inducted in this august body of converts. Brother Munir Hamid Sahib, Dr. Muzaffar, Abdul Zafar Sahib, and the late Brother Muhammad Sadiq Sahib. He's served as the president of the Philadelphia Jamaat in the 1970s and 80s. He's still working as a Majlisi Amla member of both Jamaat and Ansarullah in Philadelphia. Even in his advanced age, Husan Abdul Aziz Sahib has tremendous physical and mental strength, which he employs towards working for the spiritual revolution of the true message of God. He is known for his vast religious as well as worldly knowledge, which he generously shares with others, especially knowledge of Christianity and the Bible. Maulana Imam Kausar Sahib proudly acknowledges Hussain Abdul Aziz Sahib as his Bible teacher. Hussain Sahib has also been gifted with a very humble, soft, and cool nature, which I think is very befitting of a pioneer of Ahmadiyya Islam, and I think speaks a lot to his lasting power in the Jamaat. Always responsive to others. As an example of his cooperation, commitment, and dedication, it should be noted that just a few years back, it was reported that the Philadelphia Jamaat initiated a scheme to feed needy people in the city. And it was sponsored by some local churches and authorities and took place nearly every week. This entailed from 4 to 5 hours of rigorous work in arranging a full meal and dine-in service for more than 250 people in need. This dear brother of ours is noted as the only person who never missed each one of these sessions to assist serving the needy. When asked what inspired him to convert to Islam, Hussain Abdul Aziz Sahib's response was the study of the Holy Quran and the life of the Master Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brother Hussain Sahib's spirit was driven from the devotion and dedication to Rasul-i Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam in practicing the teaching of the Holy Quran and conveying its message. He further elaborates that he found the Creator from the teachings of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam. His motto in life is to convey the message of Ahmadiyya, the true Islam, to all of mankind. He is truly a great teacher, mentor, and supporter in the truest meanings of the words for the Jamaat and Majlis Qudam Ahmadiyya. At this point, I would like to turn over the mic to Brother Hussain Sahib and have him address us, and in specific, if he could answer, first we'd like to know what religion he was raised and what caused him to start seeking some greater truth in religion and reality.
You've already done some amazing research on my life. Only details that I can add to it is that I've tried my best to do the best job possible for everyone that I come in contact with. What was your question, please?
What religion were you raised in? When did you start to seek some greater truth in religion?
My religion was the Baptist religion. I belonged to the Baptist church. And when I accepted Islam, one of the most disturbing things to me was that I couldn't find any peace. I couldn't find any peace wherever I went, whatever I did. It was always a mixture of a whole lot of things that I didn't feel presented me with God. I was looking for God. And when I came into Ahmadiyyat, after asking that question of God, because I started praying even more, then that is when that Allah opened the gates of His mercy and showed me Islam and Ahmadiyyat. It's truly been an amazing journey for me so far. And I remember reading something about what the Prophet Messiah said about those who accept Him. He said that Allah prepares those to accept Him. So I always like to feel as though that I'm going out on the streets of America, or wherever I am, but particularly here in America. This is my home, this is my country. And I always like to feel I'm going into a garden, looking for the people that God has prepared to accept the Prophet Messiah, so that I can give them whatever I know about the message of Islam through Ahmadiyyat. You have to be an embodiment of peace in order to serve mankind. This is what they need. There's no doubt about it. The country is in a desperate need for loyalty and service. And if we don't have it, where are they going to go? We're the ones that the Prophet Messiah has prepared to accept Him, and our preparation is to practice, preach, and profess the religion of Islam through Ahmadiyyat. Thank
you. Would you like to mention any mentors who stand out to you, having helped you become a better Ahmadi, and also share with Qadam, who might be in a mentoring relationship with a young Qadam or Atfal, on maybe what they can do?
Yes. Who actually brought me to understand the true teachings of Islam is the Khalifatul Masih II. Ever since accepting Islam, his books have been a great inspiration for me in direction to the Prophet Messiah, to the love of Allah, and to the love, obedience, submission and obedience to Allah, and the love of the Holy Prophet and obedience to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, and I think that is very important, because now we have the fourth Khalifa, Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis, who has brought so much into my life, and I know into your life, that is important in this day and time. I mean, we shouldn't think that we don't need to know anything about Christianity in order to propagate Ahmadiyyat, the true Islam. I mean, I was just talking with a brother the other day, and he didn't know that Jesus, one part in the Bible said peace, which would have been shalom. And then he also didn't know that Jesus said, peace be unto you, which is shalom alaikum. Now these two things are in the Bible, which are useful in propagating Islam to people here in America. So the fact is that there's a lot to be learned, and it's a lot that we can certainly absorb with the help of God.
Jazakallah. One last question. I'm sure you've seen.
There we are.
I'm sure you've seen a tremendous amount of change over the decades, since you've accepted Ahmadiyya. What do you find most striking about what has changed and the development of Majlis Qudam al-Ahmadiyya?
What I find that's most striking in the development of Ahmadiyya is that we've come up to now, which is very important, MTA, Muslim Television Ahmadiyya. I mean, without MTA, the programs that it presents, the different language that is presented in, is very much needed, and particularly here in America, of course, that I think it's a program on now, the matters of faith, and very highly presented scholars or missionaries, superb, and any questions anyone wants to ask, all they have to do is to call in or email, and these questions will be answered. And there are a lot of important questions that need to be answered. So I think that is the most important, most needed message, most needed service as far as today is concerned. We have a president now, if I can mention it, that is, of the United States, and there's a lot of controversy around him. They say he's a Muslim, then they say he's a black person, then they say he's a Christian, and they don't know what, then he's from Indonesia, and they say, so all these kinds of things, are there, and there should be people that know how to answer these questions in a representative way, a scholarly way. And I think that this is what we've approached now, is the fact that Ahmadiyya is the only delivery of this message, the only salvation for mankind.
So I have one last thing. I have some late coming research that just came in. It was shared with me that you have a wonderful story about Chaudhry Safrullah Khan and a trip to Rabwa, and I was asked if you could share that.
Oh yes, when I went to Rabwa in 1975, and I had the great opportunity of visiting his home, and and Brother Bilal there was quite a number of us, and I remember that when we went there, we saw, at least I saw this. I noticed this picture hanging